Hey Las Vegas, thanks for joining us back here on Vegas Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. I'm Trish Williams.
And I'm Tiana Carroll. Welcome back to the show where we talk about everything real estate happening in Las Vegas. We hit some national headlines and we always cover inventory. We also have a special guest here today. We have our friend Kerry Fezza from Kerry F Decor. Sorry, Kerry. I almost stumbled there, but Kerry F Decor. She's going to talk to us all about home staging and interior design. Before we do that, though, we are going to do what we typically do and talk about this week's inventory. As we all know, real estate is supply and demand. So, what is our supply, ma'am?
Our supply is up. We have broached the 4,000.
We surpassed it.
Surpassed the 4,000 threshold. Mark. We're at 4,012 in single family residence. Still half of where we were last year, because last year we were at 8,000. Yeah. Over 8,000. So
yeah, last year at this time we were saying buy now, buy now. Now you're getting concessions. Prices have come down a little. Buy.
Yeah, last year I was worried we were going to hit 10, but then we went backwards. As the season continued on, right. and we hit spring, we went backwards. So
we did drop inventory in that spring, but now we are up over 4,000, so that's good. And then for our solds, what do we have?
347 sold for the week. So we're still hovering around those same numbers that we have been all year. So our sold numbers have been holding pretty steady for the entire year. Nothing, they haven't really spiked or dropped.
It's pretty been consistent. Yeah. The amount of units being sold each month seems to be pretty consistent, even though the inventory fluctuates.
Yeah.
And the price decreases too.
We've seen less this week. I wasn't here last week, so I don't remember the price reduction numbers. But the week before, we were almost at 9, I think. So
were we that high?
We were very high the week before. Very high.
Apparently, my brain is playing tricks on me because I thought we were in the 5s, somewhere in the 565. But
maybe I'm wrong.
I'll trust you.
I don't know.
One of us is. It's either me or you.
That's okay. We're at 505 this week.
Let's talk about today.
Yeah. So today we're at 505, and maybe I turned that 9 upside down. It was a 6 because sometimes my brain works that way.
You're probably right. I'm obviously not great with numbers, but but that puts us, if we've been staying consistently around the 500 mark, about 2,000 units closed each month, and that's what we've been doing. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And when we get into the show today to talk to Kerry about what you do, we're going to talk about how to make those price decreases less likely disappear because your home is going to look amazing and the buyers are going to want it. Right. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about today, and we're so excited for that. Before we get into that, I do want to tell you guys, hey, if you love us, and you want to see us or meet us in person, we are going to be having a trunk or treat.
We are. We love the kiddos and we love holidays, so we're going to celebrate trunk or treat tomorrow night.
Yes, and just for the record, I'm okay with giving candy to adults too. You just have to be in costume. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I dress up for the candy.
Yeah,
so.
If you want to dress up and you want to come say hi to us, I don't care the age. We have no discrimination on age there. You come, I will give you candy. You may not recognize us, but just look for the Wizard of Oz theme.
Yes.
And we will be on Green Valley Parkway and Corporate Circle, 2230. Yeah, 2230 Corporate Circle, Suite 250. And it's going to be the Keller Williams building there. And
it's going to be in the parking lot, not in the parking lot. So you don't need to go to the suite, but definitely come check us out at 2230 Corporate Circle. And for our trunk or treat, bring the kiddos, come in costume. It's going to be fun. Last year, didn't they have like a DJ and there was
music and food trucks. It's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
It'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and we have quite the setup for you guys.
We did go a little bananas this year. We did. We took up 2 trunk spaces since there's 2 of us, and we themed it out. And if you want to see it all, you'll just have to come check us out.
Yeah.
So come on to the trunk or treat.
Yep, and come say hi. So Kerry.
Kerry, you can come too.
Yes.
I think I heard that on the radio today. They were advertising that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it wasn't our trunk or treat. We didn't pay for any radio advertisement.
Okay, another one.
We're just using our platform out
I knew
there.
I'd put my foot in my mouth.
Maybe
All right.
No, Vegas Realty Check platform is where we'd advertise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's
but-
the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Good cover up, Kerry. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can come in costume.
Okay, I'll keep it in mind.
Okay.
So, Kerry, today in today's market, I both of us repeat this over and over and
All the
over
time.
again, is that our market today is a price contest, a beauty contest, and a price war.
Yep.
So you have to
I
be
like
priced
that.
right, and you have to have your best foot forward. The house has to be beautiful, and that's where staging, I think, in today's market is more important than it has been.
Yeah, any little edge you can give, I think, is so beneficial right now because we are very, very competitive. Buyers, if they're going to buy a house, they want it to be the right house.
Especially with interest rates. where
Exactly.
You have
They're
to-
bringing in so much cash to close and stuff. They want the exact house. If they're going to pay those bucks, they want it to be right.
Yeah. And home shopping can be so emotional. Like when you walk
I
in,
haven't noticed that.
No,
I
not at
barely
all.
have
It's
any
okay.
emotional clients.
but when you walk into a home, there's something about a home that is staged and designed beautifully and with that extra touch where you walk in and you just fall in love with the space, the smell, the way things are set up. There's so much thought put into it. And that's what you do. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's not only, to piggyback on what you said, it's not just important when you walk in the door. It's the latest statistics from NAR say 96% of people use the internet in the home buying process.
Yeah.
96%
real.
of buyers. And since COVID, most people will shop online first. You know, if you're going to go shoe shopping, you're going to just double check online first, right?
Yeah.
You do anything online first. So it amazes me because I follow listings, I follow real estate, I go to all the open houses. Like some of the things, the pictures people put up online, I would be so embarrassed. So, like, as to your point, you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Absolutely.
And you want to do that online. And I shop for houses and I'm not going to go to an ugly house. But once you see that one house online, especially with people coming in from California, they're going to call up their realtor and go, I want to see this house. And me and my husband have done the exact same thing. We want to see this house.
Right.
You know, I don't care where else you take us, but we want to see this house.
Right.
And that's one of the things is just the online visibility, making your listing stand out from all the rest.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
visually appealing.
Visually appealing. And there's something to, I have no sense of design.
Well, you
That
dress
is not-
yourself well.
Yeah, exactly. That is not true. She loves fashion. Her house is fashionable and designed. And
But
she's
that's
got
why
this-
I'm here to do your staging. You don't do your own escrow, right?
Right.
You know, there's a different person for every job.
Right.
And what I've realized with staging and interior designers is there's more to it than just the furniture. You know, it's the placement of it. It's how the room opens up, how your eyes travel through the space. There's so much that goes into that, which is why you hire a professional.
Yeah, size
thank
and
you.
scale. How many times have you been in somebody's house and their furniture is just too big for the space or too small and it changes the feeling of the room?
Yeah.
It's that, and it's also, you said it before, I'm a professionally trained stager, by the way. We actually go to school for this stuff. I am a graduate of the Home Staging Resource in addition to being a graduate of the New York Institute of Art and Design.
Okay.
You want to connect people emotionally. Men shop with logic. That's why I don't think a lot of male realtors use stagers. It's really hard to get them there. If their client wants it, they'll do it. But I've had it where the client wants it and the realtor still won't
That
do it.
is so interesting. I never thought about that, but I can see it.
Men shop with logic. They're numbers guys.
Yeah.
People, not that women aren't, but men, that's typically their focus. Women shop with emotion. Men shop with logic, women shop with emotion. At the end of the day, a happy
I'm not gonna
life is a
deny it.
happy life. And, you know, it's really hard once the emotional partner fixates on something to, I'll walk into a place and really like something. Oh, this is beautiful. Well, yeah, but look, there's water damage. He's looking up at the ceiling. He's looking at the floor. He's looking under the cabinets. So once you stage a space, it also, every house has their little tiny flaws. Staging will draw the focus away from that. It draws the pretty picture, like you said.
Yeah.
And people focus on that more. And then once they're emotionally connected to a space, it's much less likely to fall out of escrow.
Yes, and it's much less likely to not. I've been in situations with buyers where there was a house recently. We were out shopping and it was staged beautifully. The seller was a realtor, so obviously she knew what she was doing.
Exactly.
Knew what to do. She, I could tell she had hired a staging company, and it was. I mean, the house was literally the same. It was a brand new home, and there were a couple homes in the area that were the same house. This house was not, and I kept on telling my buyer because, it had multiple offers. She wanted to keep on going up. It was just in this market, it wouldn't have gotten her the best deal, right? Or the best, the best outcome or scenario. But she was so committed, and I kept on trying to reel her back, as a good buyer's agent, right? And saying, like, this house is the same. It's the same house as the others. It's just, it smelled really wonderful. The furniture was great. None of that will be there when we close.
Right. But that's the perfect point of staging, is that you've got houses that look exactly the same or compatible, and they want that one.
Yeah.
And staging will do that.
And
it's so much cheaper than a price reduction at the end of the day.
Yes, absolutely. And you think about it, the builders, they're the most professionals in selling real estate, right?
And they stage.
Have you ever walked in a model home that wasn't staged? I never have.
Nope.
Because and there's so many times that I've got into a point where when I'm out shopping with buyers for builders, I ask the builder if they have a home that's already made, because there's so many times where buyers will be in love with this model home they walk into. Then when the house is built or we get to that stage, they're super disappointed because of how tremendously different it looks. And it's the staging. It's the staging that made the difference. So for sellers, wonderful on getting your home sold and getting your price.
For top dollar, and having, like, again, competing in a competitive market and getting multiple offers.
Yes.
And it'll do it. And that just goes to how people want to live, right? They want it to smell good. They want it to feel clean. They want it light and bright, and they want the furniture to be so pretty. They fall in love instantly, and then they're in. But you're right. When I go do model homes too, I'm like, do you have something under construction that's the same model match so I can see what your builder grade finishes are?
Yeah. And the buyers are like ready to sign a contract in the model home.
Well, that's why they do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're selling the house, to your point. We're selling the lifestyle that goes with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So even occupied homes, it's good to bring in a stager for a consultation. We can give you tips and tricks to work with what they have, and maybe bring in a few accessories to make it show as close as you can get to a model home.
So can I ask you a question? When you do go to an owner occupant and you're in there and you're saying, okay, we're going to have to eliminate this piece of furniture and these things and not so much knickknacks, they're emotional to it, right?
Yeah, I don't always, tact is not always my strong suit, but we can play
Same
good
girl.
cop, bad.
Same girl.
We can play good cop, bad cop, because you want to look good. You're the realtor, you're on their side, you're representing them as the seller. I am your fictitious buyer. I'm representing the buyer's point of view. So I'm going to come in and go, I would never, this kitchen's too small. You can't make a kitchen bigger. So I probably wouldn't comment on that, because there's some things you can't change. But
you can change the illusion of it. Like clearing countertops would be so easy, but very impactful.
And I don't want to see your toothbrush.
Exactly.
I don't really care what you read. You definitely don't want to profile yourself politically or religiously. Mm-hmm. Even though those topics might be very important to you, And you might be, well, I don't want to sell my house to a Trump supporter, or I don't want to sell my house to some liberal from California. You want as many buyers as possible, so you want to put away anything that profiles you and any family photographs, because you want, unless it's you on the ski slopes in Aspen or you're on your yacht in Greece, things that are selling a wonderful lifestyle, you want to put those away because it still sort of shows that you're emotionally attached to the home. So you want the buyer to feel like it's their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing, when it comes to family photos, it's not just that point, but I tell people, every seller that I tell, I'm like, I market to 350 different websites. We are everywhere on the internet, and we get good photos. We hire professional photographers. We do the Matterport. We have a great photo package. Do you really want everyone on the internet seeing your baby pictures? Like, that's, that's kind of weird and creepy, and it's attached to an address. So let's take all those down.
A good point.
Yeah. So those are, I mean, it's not just that, that you want the buyers to feel like it's their space, but I wouldn't I wouldn't want people with my family and my address all on the internet, and it will be all over the internet.
And that's a really good point. But it's people don't want to see your family in the home. They want to see their family in the home. That's why when you do go to model homes and they are staged, there's some homes that are just done beautifully, and they will bring in different colors, and some of them will cater to certain ethnic groups that are buying. But it all is sort of in a generic space, in a generic vein.
Well, I think everything needs to be accessible to everybody.
Exactly.
So.
And use of space. I mean, there's times with staging recently on a home, there's a very large entryway, which in my basic staging mind, or my basic design mind, which I don't really have that gift of design. So I would walk in and just say it's a large hallway. But what they did is they put like a credenza right in the entry space with a set up very nice. And yes, that would be a perfect use of that space, and it made that space just open up and look so much better.
And it gives it a purpose.
It gives it a purpose.
It's not a blank slate. Here's this where you drop your keys and stuff when you walk in the front door.
You need a place to land.
Right.
Everybody, and then if you have that extra space, because in my mind, I'm like, this is wasted space. Just, I like form and function.
Yeah.
But if it's a big and beautiful, some people like the opulence. I'm feng shui trained too, and in feng shui, your entryway is the most important part of the home. It represents your career and how the world sees you. So you always, you only have one chance to make a first impression. So if you can make that entryway, then they want to continue on. I've looked at houses where I've walked in the door and we've turned around and walked right back out. It's like, nope, we don't even want to see this house. So
I need to redo my entryway at home. It does not represent my career.
I can help you with that. Yeah,
it does, because you have the bamboo in there, which is money, right?
That's true. I do have
So that's good. And you don't have stairs by the front door. That's bad for feng shui, because you're letting all that good energy flow out.
And Asian buyers can be, you tell me, I've heard this, that Asian buyers can be very particular, especially like she said, if the door opens and the staircase comes right down toward the door, they won't look at that house, because the chi just goes straight up and away.
Yeah.
So chi is the energy.
Right, the energy of the house. Same thing like within the bedroom. They don't want your feet facing the door, because then the chi is going out. Or having mirrors in your bedroom, because it bounces the chi
There's
around.
a lot of feng shui rules for the bedroom.
Or
but
opening a front door and you can see the back door at the direct angle.
Right, because then the chi just goes straight
from
up.
one to the other. Right, from one entrance to the other. There's there's a money
you
corner.
Can't change, but there are remedies. Like, you can't change a house. Like, they also don't like houses that face a T street, like you're on a street, because again, it's the same principle. But you can put this little, it's called a parquoir. We had a house like that, and I put it above. And you put it, it's a Chinese symbol, it represents the 8 bag
the little
wars.
coin.
Yeah, no, it represents, it's hard to, it's spelled bag
I want one.
and
You
you
don't
put
even
that
know what it
above
does yet.
And
want one.
it's meant to, my husband thought I was crazy because we're doing this. We're like, you're going to put this up for me this weekend. Then we went around the block and the other house, like on the other block, they had one too. And I said, see, but we have a large Asian market here. And I noticed a lot of the home buyers are catering to that market because they spend a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's not just Asian market. These days, a lot of people are in tune with feng shui. There's a lot of very successful business owners that are very, I mean, even, I've heard that even Steve Wynn will buy his properties. They have to be hit to his feng shui standards.
There's lots of different aspects to it.
Us energy lovers.
But even if it doesn't conform to the proper feng shui standards because it has those things like back door and front door, you can remedy that. Without hanging people, like I don't want to hang a bunch of gold coins from my ceiling. That's going to look really weird. Like,
I would.
I do. I want gold coins hanging from my ceiling. Coins. I want dollar bills covering my floor. I want hundreds on my bed. I'm all about bring me that money.
I remodeled my whole office. At the office, I had remodeled it because of feng shui. Because I took a feng shui class. I said, this whole thing needs to be done again. So
my cheese running away.
My cheese a lot better now.
Well, it sounds kind of kooky, but that's my world. My background is in the psychic arts, so I do astrology. And it's sort of based on the same principles, juxtaposition of one thing to another. It's much like architecture, everything has a relationship. And in feng shui, the relationship of objects is important.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting like the chi flowing in the right direction, in the right spot. So the main thing an average person can do, an average seller, is just clear the clutter. Clutter is get rid of the clutter. Like things shouldn't be under the bed. Clean out your closets. And you probably tell your sellers this when they're selling, like, put all the clothes that you're not wearing this season away. It'll make the closet look way bigger. But
definitely do that.
The one thing you can do that'll improve your feng shui if you want to sell your house and get top dollar and make it look good is just get rid of the clutter. And outside too, especially the entry. The entry is the most important part of the house.
Yeah.
Oh, it is,
First
especially from a showing standpoint, because when I'm fumbling with the lockbox or whatever, they're out there and they are picking apart like, oh, is the door dented or is there paint chipping or what have you.
Yes.
So are there 20 keys and you have to pull up and pull back and pull
right,
up
like
forward?
Okay, not this one, not this one. But you spend a lot more time in the entry during, I guess sellers may not realize it, but we explain it to them as realtors, because that's what we do, that we're outside in that front entry a little bit longer than you just coming home, opening the door and coming in. So make sure that is the first thing, that curb appeal and that entry is the first thing that really greets us into this house.
Most homeowners come in and out of their house through the garage, and
That's
their entry door is never used.
My husband uses the front door because he parks in the driveway. I never do. I go in and out through the garage. So a lot of people don't even know. And ours collects leaves, and so you have to
cobwebs.
You're like, oh, the light bulb's burnt out. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. So those spaces are So those are
that's
definitely
a good tip for our listeners and potential sellers to declutter. I agree with that. I always tell them, take out half of everything from every closet, because if it looks jam-packed, the buyer's going to think there's no storage, and buyers love storage. So it's giving the illusion that you're not busting out of the seams. Mm-hmm. And then what else do you have? What's some more good little juicy tips for our
this is a question
audience?
for you, because I read this, and my front door, I like a bold front door, and if your HOA allows it, I have mine painted black because it's just nice and it's stately. I read somewhere, I don't think this is an NAR statistic, so I don't want to quote anything, but tell me if this is true, that houses with black front doors sell for 6% over average list.
Well, now,
everybody, paint your door black. Let's go for it. I had no idea.
It's a great little tidbit. I don't know if it's true or not.
Black door.
6% higher.
Fresh paint does
any color paint as long as it's fresh.
Right, a fresh, clean door. But I think right now the blacks and the grays and the white trim with maybe say like walnut is very modern and looks. So we're seeing a lot of flippers using that black doors.
Can we talk about flippers?
Yeah, and remodeling.
We can talk about anything. It's our own show.
No. First of all, I'd love to have a flipper as a regular client and work with them, because
I know some. I'll introduce you.
Oh, please, that would be my ideal client. Please give them my card, because that would be my ideal client. I had somebody call me who does high-end luxury flips, but he wouldn't let me share my pictures. He said, well, if we take pictures, I said, I can't use them. And I was like, he goes, yeah, I see that won't work for you. And I'm like, not at all. I'll be promoting you while I'm promoting me, but that was a hard no. But I would love flipper. We could to promote each other, but that's the gray. And can we just talk about gray? Ever since gray's coming back, it never went away. I was doing gray 10 years ago, so it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
People love it or hate it. They're still doing it.
Yeah,
but
people who don't like the people who don't want the warm browns, they always tend to go to the gray.
Interior design is about contrast. So gray is okay. If you want to do a gray wall, I would suggest a warm gray, but then do a warmer floor. If you're doing a warmer wall color like a soft white, and we want to stay away from Swiss coffee, okay? Swiss coffee is a hard no.
That was ceiling color.
It's from 30 years ago. All my rehabs are painting over Swiss coffee. So people say, Swiss coffee, it's a go-to. It's like,
Swiss coffee.
Or Navajo white.
Repose gray, Navajo white, yeah. Okay.
But if you're using a cooler color, and you're doing the floor, a warmer floor goes beautiful with it. If you're doing a warmer wall color, like a warmer white or a warmer gray, you can get away with a cooler floor color. But gray on gray on gray does not look good, and it doesn't sell. If you've spent all the money on redoing the entire house, I've seen these houses. They've done the countertops, they've done the cabinets, they've done the lighting, they've done everything. But the house isn't selling because, number one, they're not putting staging in it, which we could warm it right up with the staging. But
or add color with the staging.
Yeah, all of the above.
And texture.
And color, texture, anything. But gray on gray on gray is not a good look. So if you like gray, like any color, use it in moderation.
Yeah.
And if you want to paint your house before you sell, do not paint it every color of the rainbow. I had to stage a house last year, and I'm just curious why I said some buyers like to freshly paint their house before they sell. Oh, we did just freshly paint the house. And I'm like, okay, why did you choose a different color for every room?
Here's
orange,
a blue room and a green room and a pink room.
My wife liked it, and the wife liked the black kitchen. They had black wallpaper in the kitchen. So that was a staging challenge. But I rise to challenges. I can do those difficult stages. We made it look super cute, but that's not what you want to do. When in doubt, just go with white walls.
Yeah.
People, I know white used to be taboo, but white walls are fresh. Yeah, it's like a new car.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
a clean
open,
slate,
it's
basically.
light. Yeah. So you do some remodeling, and you can help people when they need this done, when they need that update, freshen up to their kitchen or bathroom or main space. What do you do there?
Well, whatever needs to be done and they can afford. It's when it comes down to budget. When you're selling your house, we're trying to get you emotionally unattached from it. And if you've already found another house, you just want to get out of this house and into your new house. So you really don't want to spend a lot of money. I've been there. But if you want to get the same price as your neighbor, you're going to need to do the upgrades. But they don't have to be expensive. And I think a lot of people find this daunting because they don't know where to go. Well, I don't know a handyman. I don't know a painter. I don't have a landscape guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you call the
internet. And I want my countertops, and that's going to be really expensive. And but there's inexpensive ways we can rehab it where you'd probably get your money back dollar for dollar. Kitchens and bathrooms sell houses. So if you have nowhere to go, start there. And usually I've done a couple big remodels where the cabinets are in good shape, so we've just painted them. And added hardware, and you don't even have to add hardware, and if the cabinet, some of the older cabinets do look nice, and maybe all you have to add is some hardware, and you can buy beautiful hardware on Amazon.
Yeah, you can.
So that's it. Switch out all your stuff. And lighting. Lighting's another big,
huge
impact item that you can do for pennies on the dollar. Lowe's sells great lighting. Lamps Plus, if you want to go a little bit higher, they have great light fixtures. I put a little inexpensive chandelier in the middle, the one that hangs above the stairs. And it's really, I did it when I was first starting out. It's not really in proportion to the space, but it's the first thing people comment when they come in the door. I love that chandelier.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
It doesn't matter what else is going on in the house, they love it. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Paint and lighting are your biggest impacts for the less money. And people are like, oh, painting, that's so much work. Compared to construction, painting will only be 1 or 2 days out of your life. Your painter will come in, you'll cover your furniture, or he'll cover your furniture. You will, he'll have to probably spend a day prepping.
Yep.
And then you'll spend a day painting per room. Okay, maybe a whole house should be done in 2 days. So it's not that big of an intrusion. And if you don't have a lot of valuables in your house, if you're mostly moved out and you want to just go away for the weekend.
Which you should be by the time we're at the stage.
And the realtor will be supervising, get your house at least freshly painted. Everybody wants to do the floor. There's a lot happening with flooring right now, so everybody wants to do all this LVP and put in all this flooring. But flooring's very personal. It's like paint colors.
I agree.
So I always say start from the top. Get that popcorn off the ceiling. Pay somebody to come over and wipe that popcorn off if you can reach it.
Yeah, there's some houses, no matter how beautiful they are, the buyers will walk in and look up and be like, oh, there's popcorn. I hate it. So, and then the popcorn with the glitter, that's the most popular.
That's Vegas, baby. We like it shiny.
That's not good, yes.
That is not good. And you know that it has not been painted in at least 30 to 40 years. So.
Right.
And if you have beautiful new floor, but you still have 80s brass light fixtures hanging, it's going to take away. So start from the top, work your way down.
Yeah.
A coat of paint, some new light fixtures in the key areas like the dining and the entry. If you don't have a lot of money for floor and you want to put in carpet, fresh carpet looks better than old broken tile. But if the tile's old and it's plain, I would leave it alone because we can switch the grout color out. And also, if we come into stage, we're going to put throw rugs down. So believe me, the floor is the last thing. And you could even add a floor credit, can you not?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So flooring's one of the last things I would touch unless it's like pink porcelain or it's cracked or chipped. I wouldn't.
Right. Okay, so kitchens and baths sell. And what are some quick fixes, maybe light rehabs or freshen ups that you suggest for kitchens and baths?
Well, again, painting cabinets, but if they still look good, you might just want to add some hardware. If it's a warm toned wood and it still shows well and you can clean it up with a little Murphy's oil soap, I would buy brass hardware, modern brass. A lot of people, my husband, freak out with brass. It's like it's not your mother's brass. It's a whole new generation. It looks really good. You can buy a bunch of knobs on Amazon for next to nothing. Make sure you put them in the right place. I've seen people paint their cabinets and then they've hung them up crooked. And you're looking at these new cabinets and counters out a window with a broken screen, and I'm like, why would you not take that screen down and wash the window? I mean, you can't. This is my biggest pet peeve. You can't do anything half-assed. Can we say that on camera?
Yes, we can say whatever we like.
Okay. You can't go halfway.
Right.
Okay. Think of it like sex. You're not going halfway.
No, we're getting to the finish line, kids.
Yeah. Eventually you got to get to that finish line. Like I've seen people do the floor, but leave other things undone. It just. What's the point?
Yes, I was in an open house recently within the last couple weeks. No joke. They put, the rollout vinyl that looks like wood, which is fine. That can look good in some spaces. They put it over the carpet. Like over the carpet.
No, tell me that is not real. Like it's squishy.
You walked from the kitchen where it was flat, and then it like went up and squished down, and I was like, who and why would you do this?
Oh, you're gonna have to send me that MLS number. I'm
sure it's still on the market.
I'm sure it's still on the market
too. Realtor's responsibility. That's why you need to bring in a professional.
Okay, let's go back to realtor's responsibility. There's only so much we can do.
Okay.
There's only so much we can do, and if our advice falls on deaf ears, that is not our problem.
But would you list a house like that? Would you?
I don't
Where's
know.
the power in walking away? Because I will walk away from things that aren't going to serve me or my brand.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And I know it's a tough question. I'm asking you the tough questions.
I would do that one. I would take something like that, but I would do it like as an investor special, below market, and give it to one of my investors to rehab and do it right.
Yeah.
I would not sell it to like an owner occupant at regular market price where they're going to try and live in that. No.
And what if they spent all this money on new floor and they want top dollar?
No,
those are their bad choices, and we can walk away.
Yeah, that was.
That was my point. Like worst case scenario, there's some things I went to one house with a realtor. She paid me for a consultation, and it didn't end well because I thought the buyer was on board with the changes, and the house was, first of all, how do I say this? It was pretty much in squalor. She said, "Oh, this is clean. You should have seen it before when they had roommates." And he was trying to clean it up, but the investments he was making in the property were kind of all backwards. They needed to rehab the walls, but they'd already put in the carpet, like the lower part of the walls and that should have been done. And then the carpet, if you're going to invest in something, like I say, you got to do it right or don't waste the money, offer a credit, because the carpet was crunchy. Like they didn't no padding. And I wound up offending him. It wasn't my intention. I thought he was on board with the whole process, and he thought he was a stager, and he thought he was a realtor. So I thought he was on board.
Don't they all?
people want to put their money in places where they really don't have to. Like his kitchen really had nice cabinets. It was brown and they had black granite, and it went up to the cabinets. But black and wood is really hot right now, and it showed well. Like you can't change the shape of the kitchen. You can't change the fact that your island's way off center. Those are things you can't change.
Right.
But for all the money you're investing, I would do this a lot different or be a lot more organized. And for the realtor, I think she eventually sold the house and got a good referral. She put a lot into it, though, where I would have just chosen to walk away. The bathtub was black.
Oh.
He has a trick for cleaning it. And I'm like, well, I would get on that. Beautiful strip views, but the windows, the house needed new windows. That's a huge investment. So you can't accentuate your strip views without accenting the fact that the house needs, $30,000 worth of new windows. It would just, what do you do at that point? So that was a real tough one. And it's like, I cleaned it, and really, because I couldn't tell he cleaned. Like, I have very high standards. And if I'm your worst buyer, that's the person you're going for, is the pickiest buyer, because if you can sell to them, you can sell to anybody.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Clean is
So important. Every
important.
bit as important as staging. I don't want to see dust in your air ducts. I don't want things dust
Or
bunnies
grime in the bathroom.
or corners of dust bunnies and what about doors, light switches that are just grungy from touching? Like, can we
Or
just wipe those
kitchens
down?
with the grease caked up in the edges of the...
Like, how can you be walking with a mask on when you're touching a switch or a doorknob that's dirty? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
That's, to me, I never touch door handles or anything like that, because that's where I think.
So that's my number one.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's just make sure it's clean.
And
can we make sure it's clean, like real clean?
Well, that's why fresh paint looks so good. Even if it's a coat of white paint, it'll make your house look clean and new.
and the baseboards and all the baseboards.
I've actually done my own houses when I've gone to sell them, where I've said, just paint everything white. Paint the ceiling, the walls, the baseboards, all. He goes, well, we usually paint the ceiling this white, you paint the baseboard. Just bring in a sprayer, paint it all white, sell in the house.
Yeah, and there's times too where I've been in houses that didn't have horrible paint on the walls and didn't want, they didn't want to spend the money to have the whole home repainted. And I've said, at least freshen up the baseboard.
Yeah.
And it can make it look like you have a fresh paint job. Either painting the baseboards can work wonders in some cases if your paint's not real chipped.
It's hard when you live in there to look at it from a discerning eye, but when you come in as a third party, you're easily like, oh, those baseboards are gingier than you think, or there's more scuff marks than need to be there.
Yeah.
Or windows should be cleaned to let that bright light in. Even if they're older, they should definitely be cleaned. You don't want like water spots or anything mucking up the views and the light.
Yeah.
Or if you have ripped screens and you've gone to the trouble to remodel your kitchen, take your ripped screens down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Kerry, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk more? If they need a staging consultation, is there a fee for staging consultations, or
Yes.
is it advertised?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I cut?
No, go ahead.
No,
You're good.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Like, I get on that.
tell us everything.
Tell
No,
us,
for
yeah.
occupied houses, a staging consult is best money spent. I charge $250 for that, and I focus on the west side of town. I don't do a lot out in Henderson. I'll be honest with you. I'm a west side stager.
Okay.
She's like, I got that on my card. I'm West Side staging.
I apologize to the people that live out that way, unless it's McDonald Highlands or something, and then I might charge a little more. We start at $250, and you bring me in. I can bring sheets, and the buyer can take notes, and then it's broken down into entryway, lighting, all the things. They can have detailed notes. I have them do it, because if I'm doing it, they're like, who cares?
Right.
If they're taking the notes, they're paying attention, and then they can read their own handwriting. And so that'll be a takeaway. So they have something to take away.
A to-do list. Yeah.
Exactly. And if it's a vacant house or soon to be vacant and you're bringing us in to do the staging, then it's usually included in the staging price. That's a free consultation. We'll just go over there, take measurements, look around, see how we want to do it.
Okay.
And if it needs more than that, if we need to talk about painting and carpet, then it would be a $250 fee. But if they go with the staging, we can always roll that in so they feel like they get a little discount. And if you're paying for the consultation, I'm always work with realtors. I can work out special pricing. I feel like you guys deserve a break if you're putting money out of your own pocket and putting it towards it.
Yeah.
So how do
awesome.
they get a hold of you?
Oh, well, I always answer my phone too. I think I'm one of the few stagers in town that answers the phone myself.
Okay.
Yes,
And
I
what is
did.
that
I that's how I got a hold of you. You answered.
Yeah. And, unless I'm with a client, I'll always answer. I'll always return your call within 24 hours. ours. My number's on the screen.
We're going to go, is 702-882-4518 for those of you listening to us on the podcast and aren't watching the screen.
Okay,
now
I
you
apologize.
got it. No
and
worries.
then I'm Kerry F Decor, and that's the Irish spelling. Kerry, F is in Frank for my last name, and then Decor, and that comes from another project I was branding. So Kerry F Decor was born out of that, and that's all my social media at Kerry F Decor. You can email me kerryfdecor@gmail.com.
Easy.
Website Kerry F Decor.
Kerry F Decor.
Very easy to
Type
find.
that in your search and you'll find Kerry.
You will.
Excellent. So before they stage their home, they're going to need a home to sell, which is your specialty, list agent Trish Williams. How do they get a hold of you?
So you can reach me on my phone number, which is 702-308-2878. Call or text. I'm pretty easy to reach as well. And Tiana, people are out there shopping and want to go look at some beautiful homes. Who do they call?
Even if they're not staged. No, just kidding.
Yes.
No, beautiful homes are staged, and you can reach me at 702-379-9948. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week on Vegas Realty Check. We are here every Thursday at 9:30 a.m., or you can download us on any platform you get your podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much for the support. Bye, Vegas.
Bye.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.